Okay, so for a very brief history, the earliest documents we have which unequivocally specify the mathematics of musical tunings are by the ancient Greeks. Pythagoras is credited with many of the early advances, but certainly the knowledge is much older and probably was first from the Sumerians around 2500 BC. Then, after the Sumerians, the Babylonians took over their culture, and much of it filtered to the Persians and then the Greeks. There was much discussion of tuning in the Greek treatises, and when the Romans conquered Greece, they took over the Greek culture, but we still continue finding books written in Greek. It was in the very late Roman Empire that we find Latin, and Boethius, writing around 505 AD, was during the time of the German invasions, which ended the Western Roman Empire. And Boethius' book remained the standard for an unbelievable 1,000 years. After the Crusades, the soldiers brought Greek books back to Italy, and this slowly developed into the Renaissance. Many theorists from 1300 to 1600 were very interested in tuning, and it was an active area of exploration. During the so-called common practice period between 1600 and 1900, the mean tone family of tunings, which I'll talk about more later, became established as the standard. And it was around 1900, because of the Industrial Revolution and the mass manufacture of instruments, 12 EDO finally became established as a standard. 12 EDO is a member of the mean tone family as well as other tuning families, but it was because of Schoenberg using the notes equally, all 12 notes equally, without regard to their tonal implications, that really started people using it and thinking of it as a scale. And then with the establishment of serial technique after World War II, use of any other tunings other than 12 EDO almost ceased, with the exception of a few pioneers like Harry Partch. With the use of computers, especially the Apple Macintosh and the IBM PC in the early 1980s, it became easier to experiment with tunings, and then the adoption of the internet made it easier for microtonalists to share information, files, and software and compositions. So this is an active area of exploration once again. For the next section, I'll begin talking about the technical details.